What's going on, guys? I'm Ben Bateman.
And I'm Andrew Ghai.
And we're here to talk to you today about the definitive ranking of the top 5 Pixar films of all time.
Yeah, with the release of Onward this weekend, we figured we'd go back and visit some of our favorites, which most likely will be some of your favorites from the most celebrated animated studio of all time, Pixar.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that in 1995, when we were just wee lads and we started seeing these films, we had no idea what to expect. No, Brave did not make it. We had no idea what to expect, and of course, going into this list, there were a few that couldn't quite make it for us. So we wanted to start out with a few honorable mentions, and then the first one on that list is going to be Coco.
Yeah, Coco is absolutely beautiful. The music in it is astounding. There was just something about maybe the end of it that didn't connect with us as much as it connected with some other people out there, and honestly, it could have just been that it didn't connect with us for our own personal reasons. I love Coco. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a piece of art, but doesn't quite make my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, missing the top 5 obviously is not the worst thing in the world. Coming up number 2 on the honorable mentions list, we're gonna throw Monsters, Inc. at you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie that I think a lot of people have as their number 1. It's kind of like the ultimate fan favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah, I mean, Boo's maybe the cutest thing in the world, and of course, Goodman and Crystal on camera, I guess, in the voice booth are amazing chemistry-wise, so as much as we love that, and I actually even love Monsters University, not gonna make the top 5 either. And lastly, it's Finding Nemo.
Crazy that it didn't make it, right? You guys are surprised. They can see it in your faces right now. I mean, it's wild, right? This is like the ultimate kids movie. It kind of rounds out that initial run of Pixar movies before Incredibles the next year. Kind of kicks it into a slightly more adult genre, it feels like. And this movie's wonderful, but obviously we can only pick 5.
Yeah, I mean, it got its own spin-off. I mean, Dory got her own spin-off. So, without further ado, we will hop in to our top 5.
Number 5. The Incredibles, guys. This is a movie in 2004 that I saw in theaters. Brad Bird directs this film. He's coming off The Iron Giant a couple years earlier, and he just knocks it out of the park with this cast.
Yeah, and not only does he knock it out of the park with the cast, what about him actually doing the voiceover of Edna in that is
incredible.
So good. He's hilarious, and everyone cast in this is so great. All the voices work so well together, and it's honestly like a coming-of-age family drama at moments, tied in with an action movie and, of course, a great Pixar film.
I don't know that Holly Hunter ever did a movie where you could imitate her voice lovingly as great as this movie. I mean, come on.
She likes to talk like this a lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. I did a lot of that one myself. So Incredibles number 1 is our 5th film. It's a movie that really does function like a perfect action movie. It feels like it reflects all of those movies that we love to cover on our show, and that's why it's going to jump in at number 5.
So number 4 coming up is Toy Story 3.
The consensus number 1 Pixar movie for many, many Pixar fans. I kind of get the feeling that our producer, who's standing on the other side of this room, actually thinks this is the number 1 movie. Many people do. This was the second of the Pixar films to be nominated for Best Picture, back-to-back years in 2010. Lee Unkrich comes in and replaces John Lasseter as the director of this film, and you obviously have the touching moment at the end of the film where they're getting near the incinerator. Everybody thinks it's coming to an end. And this film, because it's so many years later, it revisits so many of the themes, so many of those wonderful moments from the first 2 films, but really kind of hits people at that right moment in their life where it's speaking to you as an adult, something that you really grew up with as a kid 15 years earlier with the first film.
Yeah, the nostalgia behind it. They really, really dial in on that nostalgia, and if you are a big fan of Toy Story 1, which most people are, you really feel a lot of those things that you love in Toy Story 3 with a bit of an evolution, or I guess a look forward in time. I love Toy Story 3, but I'm a big, big advocate for saying that you can't love the 3rd movie in a franchise without respecting what the first one did. So next up on our list, it's the original Toy Story.
Number 3, Toy Story, the OG, the first Pixar movie, 1995. What a fascinating moment in Disney's history. Obviously, Pixar was not yet owned by Disney at this time. Really kind of redefined the way we felt about new animated films.
It changed everything. I mean, you got Tim Allen and, of course, Tom Hanks that come in and they lock down Woody and Buzz, who have become maybe 2 of the most iconic film characters in history, in all history of film. And it came from a Pixar movie. There's something that just feels so at home about Toy Story, which is why for us, it actually edges out Toy Story 3, even though all of them get better in ranking as they get, moved through the series.
Toy Story 1 is like 87 minutes. I watched it recently and I was like, God bless it, this movie is just exactly the right length. The humor's on point, it's written for adults while still being written for kids.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
It actually is scary with the mishap toys next door, like the baby on the crane thing with the spider. That still freaks me out today, and I'm 32.
Iconic.
So as shocking as it might be, Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 1 did not make our top 2, but what did is Up.
Crazy, right? I mean, it feels like this movie would be the number 1 pick on almost everybody's list, and at one time in my life, I actually thought it was, but holy smokes, there are 2 top options here. It's
Honestly,
so heartbreaking to watch the first 10 minutes of this film. To Paradise Falls and Carl Fredricksen with his wife, and they're getting older, and it's the progression if you have grandparents that you were close to and you watch this movie, you will be crying within 2 minutes.
And also, let's just be real, as we get older, how much more do you relate to Carl? I am so set in my ways. I do not want to move. I do not want to do things for other people.
Get off my lawn. And then he freaks out and he hits the guy and he feels bad about it. But he's like so embarrassed. This movie is unbelievable. The cast is incredible. I love everything about it. It just feels like the last 45 minutes is not quite as cohesive or good as the #1 film on this list. And the #1 movie on this list, a winner. I think every single movie on this list won Best Animated Film the year that it came out at the Oscars. But the #1 for us that wins is going to be Inside Out.
This movie blew my mind. I did not think that I could go and watch a Pixar film that would make me think so much more about the way that the mind works, the way that the way we categorize things in our mind. Like if Inception was for dreams, then Inside Out is the exact same thing for the way that you handle your emotions and the way that you grow up and mature.
It's an incredible cast. The concept is amazing. The visuals are amazing. And this movie has, again, we talked about the first 10 minutes of Up. Well, Bing Bong as a character and letting Bing Bong go is one of the saddest things I can remember ever watching in a movie. It absolutely destroys you. It breaks your heart. Watching Riley get older and her relationship to her parents, I mean, and those moments when like sadness starts to get and just get out of there, and it's like, well, you can't stop sadness from getting in there because that's just life. What an incredible message for children. I mean,
and like the idea that you can't function with one without the other. Like in order to have happiness, you have to have sadness. In order to have these great emotions, there must be balance. There's ups, there's downs, there's ebbs, and there's flows. And this did so much, I think, also for the emotional development of children and me.
We are still children. So guys, that is going to round out the top 5 for us. Obviously, coming up this weekend, we've got Onward opening in theaters. It is the brand new Pixar film starring Chris Pratt and, of course, Tom Holland. It looks really fantastic. Later on this year, we have the follow-up film from Pete Docter, Soul, which is going to be unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to that one. So go see it this weekend, guys. Let us know in the comments below, what are your top 5 Pixar movies? What did we miss? Did WALL-E make your list? Did we just edge out one of your favorites? We want to know, so share your thoughts below there and let us know. And of course, hit that subscribe button here at Popcorn Talk.
And don't forget about watching our show every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Action Movie Anatomy, where we'll talk about movies like, Incredibles might not get covered on Action Movie Anatomy, but we cover some pretty good stuff on there. So
pretty darn good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.